So SHOT Show 2025, Staccato announces the HD series that takes Glock magazines, and the natural question is, how does it compare to the Stealth Arms Platypus, which was the original wide-body 1911 that took Glock mags? Then there's also the Fusion Firearms XP Pro that isn't featured in this video. Yeah, I was going to use the Fusion XP Pro. It's going to be awesome, but last night I was getting the guns ready to come to the range today, oiling it, and I noticed that there was an issue. The firing pin was stuck underneath the firing pin stop. So I took the optic plate off and accessed the firing pin stop and managed to snap a screw off in the slide, and I couldn't get the firing pin to play ball. So stand-in for that's going to be an actual Glock 17, but it's got a Chiral Defense 1911 adapter, so it actually points like a 1911. Now, I've done complete videos on these guns. You can watch the full reviews on these guys. This is an updated Stealth Arms Platypus that has the prickle grip texture. It is a 5-inch gun with a bull barrel, but it has an aluminum frame, so it weighs roughly the same as the Staccato HD P4, which is a steel frame. So that one's about 33 ounces. This one's about 31, 32 ounces as well. So from a weight perspective, they're kind of messing with the same stuff, so it feels fair to compare the 5-inch gun to the 4-inch gun. Stealth Arms also allows you to customize the paint, and you can go truly wild. There are some truly hideous guns floating around on the internet that folks have designed and are madly in love with. So there's a lot of options from the Stealth Arms, made 100% in America, all the parts as well. Staccato HD P4 is the follow-on to the Staccato P. It takes Glock mags. It has a modular grip that bolts onto a steel frame, but there is a little bit of break with tradition because it has an external extractor, an ambidextrous slide stop, and it is intended to be used with an optic, so it actually has irons in front of the optic, right in front of the ejection port. Now, I did have to send this back to Staccato because my rear sight roll pin was undersized, and as a result it jumped off the slide, but I can report that their customer service is world class. They had it back in 3 days. I think it actually didn't spend long enough in the Staccato factory to even warm up from the shipping department. They had it back that afternoon when it arrived in the morning. So big hats off to the guys at Staccato for getting it done. Why that matters is it also makes the frame wider, which means that the manual safeties are further apart. Couple that with the 9mm magazine geometry the gun's built on, and it makes the beaver tail very wide, wider than a traditional 1911, where you normally have your hand like a, a little V that the gun kind of sits down into. You have to make more of like a C-shaped grip to get your hand onto the safety, and that creates a hot spot right there where the safety is coming on the left side of the gun, or I guess your trigger side. I imagine left-handed shooters would have the same issue. Now, the Glock 17, it's a Glock 17. You know all there is about it. So we're going to evaluate how the guns shoot practically. It's 29 degrees at the range today. All these guns are lubricated, but it's probably going to slow down the slides on these guys. So we're going to evaluate practical accuracy, we're going to rest and shoot groups, and we're going to evaluate magazine compatibility with all 3 guns. Now, in order to score these, we're going to be using the F1 point system, since F1's right around the corner. First place in a round is going to get 25 points, second place will get 18, third place will get 15. And when I show you the scores, you'll hear this. All right, so we're getting started with a practical drill. I've got one target at 25 yards that is partialed and one target at 7 yards. So we're gonna do 2 reps of a drill, 6 shots on the 25-yard target as fast as possible, transition onto the close target for 6 shots. We'll use USPSA scoring, but quickly I do wanna give a shout out to Run and Gun US. They make amazing stitched products that you can put things that you like to carry to remote outdoor places where the Texas weather punishes you by being 80 degrees during the week and then 29 degrees on the weekend, so you're just not ready for it like me. But look at that good looking ammo purse there. It's gorgeous. So thanks to our friends at Run and Gun. Those are truly cool and I appreciate that. So I guess we'll go first with the Glock, since the Glock was kind of the OG. All right, Glock 17, close range target, all alpha. Uh-oh. Glock 17 distant target. I've got two right there, two line breakers. Wow. I'm wondering, no, I mean, those all look pretty good. I think that's bad trigger discipline right there with the Glock. Stealth Arms going second. God, it's cold. All right, here we go. The trigger is much easier to run quickly out of the Stealth Arms. The gun just sits in the hand a little bit nicer when it's lifting and recoil. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, jumping all over the place. It just lifts straight up and down. That's more to do with my grip than the gun, but the ergonomics of the gun do influence how the gun moves in recoil, and the Glock ergonomics are a little bit famous for being built for aliens. But let's go take a look at those hits. I definitely enjoy shooting the Stealth Arms more than the Glock. So got a little aggressive on the transition and came into the C zone with an over transition, but the grouping is a little bit tighter. If you see kind of the extreme spread, kind of the most extreme spread there, it's easier to hold there, largely due to the ergonomics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Basically a delta in the same spot with the Glock. Weird. So the hits are better with the Stealth. It's just easier to shoot kind of precisely at speed. Staccato P4, let's see what we do here. First session for the Staccato was a 505. All right, the Staccato plus the Platypus's hits. That C is from the Platypus. That's a new C from the Staccato, but, you know, great hits. All right, I got a little more aggressive with the Staccato, and as a result, I dropped a hit down into the hardcover zone. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Only one Charlie, though. That, but I paid for it there. So, not bad. 25-yard accuracy test. Going to be shooting 2 5-shot groups from a rest, so you guys can see that I suck at shooting groups from a rest, and then standing freestyle just to see what happens. We will give a prize to the I haven't even decided how to score this, to the smallest average group and the best group period. So there will be 2 winners this round. All right, Glock, let's go. Ooh, that one jerked the trigger. All right, that was probably garbage. I'll probably do better with my hands. Okay guys, you give me crap for not using shooting from a rest, and I'm about to show you why, because these are the Glock's hits. We'll start with the rest. So with the rest, we had one in the middle and then no really good grouping. And then this one's actually a good group, it's just all left. That's okay. That's maybe 3.5 inches there. But I come over to the freestyle, and I got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a great group. I would say right at about 3 inches. But look at this beauty with Mr. Glock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about a 2.5 inch group maybe. Excellent consistency. The zero's probably a little bit left for this ammo. It's cellular and Balat 115, by the way. So very good stuff from the Glock. Do it again with Mr. Platypus. See if I can actually shoot a group at 25 yards. What's on the guy there? All right, that was horrible. I can't shoot rested groups to save my life. I can tell you right now, I probably did better with the Glock than I did the Platypus, which is a shame considering the quality of that trigger. It's got the best trigger of the guns on the table. So yet again, I can't shoot groups off a rest to save my life, and take a look at that. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, I guess, better than one of the Glock groups. And this one I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm guessing one of these two guys down here is that. But if I come over to the freestyle groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would say that those are in line. I had 2 flyers with the Platypus that I didn't have on the Glock, probably because I was so focused on my fundamentals with the Glock, because the grip is weird and the trigger's not as good, that I just had better fundamentals where I was kind of getting a little more lazy with the Platypus. So there's that. Here we go again with some more groups. Mr. Staccato HD. See if I can manage to not embarrass myself. Shooting bench groups. Whoa, that surprised me. That was terrible. Why do people do this? All right, let's go. All right, the Series 80 trigger, when you're shooting slow with the Staccato, you can kind of feel it. So the Staccato HD P4 had actually a pretty good group right there. Then I shot the staple off the target. An excellent rested group. Maybe I am getting better at shooting rested groups. Coming over here to the freestyle groups, you can see that's, you know, probably 4 inches there. And I had the beginnings of a good group, but then threw it all away. So, yeah. All right, I've got 5 different types of magazines. I've got the KCI, Mechgar, Bull Armory, Magpul, and OEM Glock magazines. Each gun is going to get to shoot 1 round through each. It'll get a point for seating and feeding. It'll get a point for locking back and a point for dropping free. So with that said, Glock's going first, KCI mag. Okay, fed and locked back, dropped free. Mechgar, fed, locked back, dropped free. Bull Armory, fed, locked back, dropped free. Magpul, fed, locked back, dropped free. Although I missed the steel. One more thing you guys can make fun of me for. All right, and last one was the OEM Glock mag, obviously fed, locked back, and dropped free. Platypus got the KCI mag, fed and seated, locked back, and dropped free. This is the OEM Glock mag. I think we know how this is going to go. Yep, got all 3 there. Magpul. Oh, didn't lock back that time. Doesn't lock back. It actually, Platypus didn't lock back on the Magpul. Did drop free. Well, let's just drop free. All right. And this is the Bull Armory with the wing base plate. It locks in. It's a little bit tough. Fed, locked open, drop free. And Mechgar. Uh-oh. I don't think this is going to lock in. Okay, fed. Wasn't really locked in. The magwell on the Platypus grip doesn't allow the Mechgar to seat, so lost 2 points with the Platypus that go round. Okay, here we go. OEM Glock mags with Mr. P4. Okay, fed, locked back, drop free. This is the KCI mag. Drop free. This is Magpul. Locked back, drop free. This is the Bull Armory with the rip-free wings. I missed the plate again, but it dropped free. And the Mechgar that the gun ships with. All good. So perfect score for the P4. The Glock was perfect. The P4 was perfect. The Platypus didn't lock back on 2s. I do want to kind of round it out talking about value. So the value proposition of the Glock is it is, as we've learned, an amazingly accurate pistol. This is a Gen 4, not even a Gen 5, and it still put out amazing groups. A super accurate pistol that people do not give it credit for, but it absolutely is. The ergonomics are a little bit challenging. This chiral defense grip adapter makes it point like a 1911. It helps me so I don't have to fish because I don't shoot Glocks that often. It is super simple to maintain. It's the gun I feel like you have to work the hardest for, but the price these are selling at is the lowest by a wide margin. So excellent value, going kind of 0 to 1 and just getting a gun that is reliable. This guy does it in spades. Really good value. Moving up the value chain to an American-made gun, the Platypus, and this kind of starts at like 14 and it goes up to as much as you care to spend based on how you option it, because it is truly a custom gun. It's still a great value because you can't spend as little money as this. As optioned right here, this is about a $1,900 gun, not including the cost of the optic, and you couldn't get that pretty much anywhere. But it is the spec that I think is probably the best spec with the bull barrel. The aluminum frame gun really does benefit by having that bull barrel. Still a very, very good value for a gun. The trigger and fit of the guns, this has the best trigger by a pretty healthy piece on the table. Excellent clean break, very, very predictable. Despite being 3.5x what the Glock is, I still consider it a great value, considering that you can basically build the gun that you want to build, which is pretty awesome. Then stepping up further to about $2,500, this is the lowest tier of the Staccato HD series. It just has the black irons, came with 2 Mekar magazines. It's about $2,500. It is a different mission from the Platypus and is intended as a duty gun. It's the only one of the guns, well, the only 1911 on the table that would be truly drop safe due to the Series 80 trigger that it's got. Obviously, the Glock with the safe action is going to be drop safe as well. But this bad boy is going to cost just north of about 4x what a current gen Glock would cost. So I would say that I was getting faster times. I was for sure easier to shoot practically than the Glock was. The accuracy was pretty good. I got good accuracy out of the P4. I think all of these guns are more accurate than I am as a shooter. So like the accuracy is all good enough to where a competent shooter can get the most out of them. This is the only gun on the table that is DLC coated. That's diamond-like carbon coating. It is far and away the best weapons finish you can get on a firearm for a serious use firearm. It's definitely the best. The fit on the gun is a little bit looser than the Platypus, not quite as tight as the Platypus. The trigger is a distant second from the Platypus. It's not distant, I would say it's right on the heels. It's a very good trigger. On my particular model, you can't really feel the Series 80 unless you're going super duper slow, and then you can kind of feel it a little bit, and it's really not that bad. But using your scoring system, because apparently everyone in the comments only likes guns, the Glock I would consider the best value. The number 2 I would consider honestly the Platypus, and then the Staccato HD P4 I would consider the worst value. Still a great gun. There's nothing really like it, so it's difficult to compare it to something else, but it's the most expensive gun on the table. So a bit of a bonus for you guys with which one would you pick kind of thing. And it really, really depends on what you're going to be doing with the gun. If you want a carry gun, if you want a range gun, if you want kind of a duty gun, the answer is going to be a little bit different each time. For a carry gun, I would say probably the Glock or maybe the Staccato. The Staccato is going to be heavier, so if you're a dude who can handle a heavier gun, I would probably pick the Staccato just because I'm a fancy pants and I like to carry nice guns. But also at the same time, the Glock is super capable and super lightweight. I would probably go either way, and the reason I don't stay Platypus is because I love this grip texture. This is the grip texture I would want on any Platypus that I would design. this would probably tear me up, although I'm sure some of you guys are out there saying, no, it doesn't tear you up too bad, but I can promise these little pricks will grab your shirt and make it move funny and make it print weird. So for carry, I would say probably Glock or Staccato. For a range gun between these guys, just a gun to take out to the range and have fun with, I think that probably the Platypus is going to get you there. It's got a nicer trigger. This is a flex game when you're buying a range gun. That's really what 2011s are, is pretty much just a flex. And I think that the Platypus is the biggest flex. It's the most exotic. You'll turn the most heads on the range with the gun. It shoots very similarly to the Staccato, despite being just a little bit lighter. And it's, you know, super accurate, super fast, super fun. So I would definitely pick the Platypus for the range gun. And the duty gun, again, it's gonna come down to what you're accustomed to. Either one of these guys would be your choice for duty. Obviously, Glock is king. If you are just a regular guy and you don't want to train a lot and learn how to manage a manual safety, Glock's going to make the most sense for you, but you're going to be punished for that because it's the hardest to shoot precisely. That's not open for discussion. This gun weighs about 10 ounces less than this gun, and it's just easier to shoot heavier guns. This gun recoils a little bit more nicely. The controls are a little bit more precise. It's just easier to get more out of this gun. Although when you correct for it with great technique, this gun does everything this one will do at about 1/4 the cost. So now that we have a Winter Crown, I don't even know who won because I can't do math in my head. But I'm curious what you would pick if you had the funds available to you, and then maybe based on your current situation, which one's the most attractive to you. Let me know in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys. Please consider subscribing if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one.